Or you know it. You know it. Yes, you
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Are we all here?
Ma.
Can we hear me?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so please unmute your mics. Sorry, mute your mics. It's a bit noisy, so that we can continue. Have we unmuted? Okay. Okay, thank you. Ismail, please unmute your mic, please. Elliot, please mute. Rhoda, please mute your mic. Ismail, okay. Elliot, please mute your mic so that we have less distractions. Thank you. Okay. 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 So welcome back. Sorry for the glitch. Maybe one person will solve this Zoom problem. It'd be nice for us to have somebody on this call, who will say, okay, I'm going to, make what's it called? Like an app or something like a Zoom, but much better, okay? That would allow people do meetings for longer, okay, and more features, okay? Maybe somebody would take that as an assignment and want to work towards it. Okay, and I'd love to see the rest of that someday soon. Okay, so let me go forward. We're on the next slide. It says, how do you lead the next generation? How do you lead the next generation? You lead the next generation by mentorship, by mentorship. Importance of mentorship. And mentorship and coaching is learning from experienced leaders who provide guidance and support. So how do you lead? Okay, you would have also been mentored at some point or the other in your life, and then you have attributes that you want to pass across. So the way to lead the next generation is by mentorship. Also to build digital literacy, especially the Gen Alphas. Oh, sorry, my face, sorry. Okay, can you see my face now? Thank you. Okay, so the next point is build digital. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Elliot. Elliot, can you please mute?
Connection from
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please mute your mic so that we can have some quiet. We'll wait for the host to please share the screen. So building digital literacy, educating Gen Alpha on the responsible use of technology. Responsible use of technology. I believe that the slide will be shared to everyone after this call. There is a use of technology. There is a responsible use of technology. What we have today is the abuse of technology. You find out that parents have, when we give our children, gadgets and all that, we have to put timers. We have to put apps to monitor what they are doing on the call, monitor what they are doing on their phones, monitor what they are doing on their tabs, because there is an abuse. there's an abuse. A normal child today would not want to go to bed on time because they are busy on their phones, busy on their tablet. And you're wondering, what exactly are you doing? So there is an abuse, okay, of technology. There's a time to go to bed, there's a time to, and there are some sites that you're not meant to visit. So the things that the Gen Zs should pass on to the Gen Alphas is responsible use of technology. Even though Gen Alphas are born in the time of, immense, and intense technology advancement, it does not mean that you should use it anyhow. And I mentioned earlier that we grew up when there was no technology. Everything was just all gloom and doom. Pardon my choice of words. But we survived. We survived. And what I do sometimes now is I intentionally just, go off my phone. In fact, on Sundays, you can't see me chatting and all that. It's my day of rest. I feel that, look, I have worked Monday to Friday. I've been on this, app, on this tech, gadgets. I need a day to myself, but my children, we had to seize their gadgets. Like my daughter, we've had to seize her phone. In fact, her phone is seized presently, because who are you chatting with? Don't go on Snapchat. Don't do this. You have various people on Snapchat. Not everybody that you see online is after your good. But they don't believe us. It feels as if, they don't understand. We don't understand, but we're trying to, protect them. So Gen Alphas might not understand. It is the responsibility of Gen Zs to teach them, to tutor them and say, you know what? We know when this thing started. There's nothing there. It is a distraction. Social media is a distraction in this time and age. It's a distraction. I know someone that was an A student, okay? And because of the, I think on his birthday, he was given a phone. And since that phone came into his life, he's been distracted. And someone that was an A student is now, just above average because of a phone. So the parents also had to collect the phone from him and say, you know what? We're not going to allow you ruin yourself. If this phone is going to be the distraction that will bring you down, then we're going to take it away. So there is a responsible use of, of technology. Emotional intelligence, cultivating empathy and emotional awareness is leadership. So a Gen Z, okay, must be socially aware, must be emotionally aware. You can't just behave to people. You must have empathy, and you must teach this next generation empathy. So when they come up to say that Gen Zs, this is what they do, they are, they lack emotion, they talk anyhow, it should not be you. So if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So I want every Gen Z on this call to purpose in their heart and say, even if what they know Gen Zs by is the negative, in my case, it's not going to be the negative. It's going to be the positive. Someone said they can't see my face. My face is here. My face is showing. Rachel. See Rachel? My face is here. Maybe your network, but my face is on. Okay? And empowering others, okay? Fostering a leadership style that empowers the next generation is what Gen Z should be about. So my next slide, it says you cannot give what you don't have. The future of leadership lies in our ability to prepare. What do you have? What do you have? What skills do you have? What skills do you have? And you want to lead the next generation with what? Ask yourself, Gen Z is on the call, what skills do I have? What skills do I possess? Even ordinary, academics. Can I teach a Gen Alpha, effectively? Can I teach them effectively? A science student on the call, can you confidently take physics and chemistry, biology, and the likes and say, oh, I want to teach the next generation? Can I confidently do that? What skills do you have? And that is lacking. So we have a lot of people that I don't want to use the word empty, but they're just a bunch of, they can speak English, they can converse, they can say the right words, but they are actually shallow. I mentioned those guys, the Clintons, the Oshabi and all that. They have something, there's content. What do you have? How do you lead the next generation if you don't have what you're going to lead them with? So that's the question to us today. What do you have? What skills do you have? So if you cannot give what you don't have, then how do you lead? Okay? The future of leadership lies in our ability to prepare for that future, for that leadership. First thing I put here is skill building, and that is communication. Communication. You must be able to convey your ideas to the next generation clearly and to be able to listen effectively. Decision making. You must learn to make informed decisions. Okay? Informed, timely, and ethical decisions. So not just any decision, informed ones, timely ones, and ethical decisions. You also have problem-solving skills, strategic thinking. What are you thinking to solve? I have people today who are not even Gen Zs, but they keep saying, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. They're thinking of another source of income, but they have no clue. And I tell them, around you, where you are, in your vicinity, in your community, there are a lot of problems that need solution. It's just to look at it. Holistically, look inwards. What solutions can I prefer? By the grace of God, I run 3 businesses. 3. And sometimes I ask myself, how am I able to do this? Okay? But because I have God, but it's not just having God. Okay? Because, you know, we do a lot of, oh, God has helped me, this and that. But most importantly, it is what you have in your hands, okay, that He will bless. What skills do you have? Communication. How are you able to communicate? Are you able to, you know, relate your ideas to the next person effectively, clearly, timely? Are you good at making decisions, ethical decisions? Are you good at it? And see, if you're looking for something, you will find it. Okay? So I talked about problem solving. I was looking for a shared space, and that's the beauty of AI. I was looking for a shared space, you know, for some of my products, and I didn't mention to anybody, but I was thinking about it. And I think I saw a post one day and it just showed me something about shared space. And I was like, wow, how did Instagram know that I was looking for a shared space? And before you know it, another one popped up, another one popped up. So there are solutions everywhere. There are solutions everywhere. Are you looking at those areas where you can prefer solutions? Are you looking at them? Or you just want life to happen and you just, no. This time and age is not the time and age for, lackadaisical attitude. You're supposed to give it your all. Another skill that you should have is self-awareness and personal growth, self-assessment and feedback. I talked about feedback earlier. You must be able to take feedback. Anyone who wants to grow, anyone who wants to lead must be able to take feedback. You cannot say, no, I don't want, no, you can't know it all. What you're doing here today is learning. You cannot know it all, because if you know it all, you will not be on the call. So you're on the call to learn, to better yourselves, and I advise that you take it very seriously over the next couple of days and tell yourself, what skills do I have? What do I want to pass on to the next generation? Am I self-aware? Am I also working on my personal growth? What qualifications do you have today? What qualifications? Ladies, do you know how to knit? I know people that knitting has taken them global. So it doesn't have to be tech. Not everybody will be in the tech space. Not everybody. Not everybody will be in the tech space. So don't let everybody be thinking, I want to do digital marketing. I want to do digital this. Beautiful. But not everybody will be there. Find your strengths. Know your weaknesses and work on your strengths. All of us have our areas of strength and we know where we are weak. Work on your weaknesses, but project your strength more. Enhance it, boost your strength area. Boost it. Don't rest on your oars. Don't rest on your past, achievements. Oh, I was this. Nobody cares about what you were. Who are you today? Be self-aware. Formal education and training, okay? Mentorship and coaching, like I mentioned, taking on leadership roles. Some of us don't want to take on leadership roles, as little as even in our places of worship, Oh, come and be. I'm shy. Oh, I'm very shy. I can't do this. Would you like to be this? Oh, I'm this. Would you like to be this? Oh, in school, want to be the class rep or something? Ah, I'm too shy. And you want to lead. Oh, you need to put yourself out there. Enough of being shy. Enough of taking the back seat. I noticed something that every time people come into a room, you know, a lot of people like to sit in the middle aisle and the back, and they leave the front seats. And you're wondering, is it spirits and ghosts that will sit in the front seats? Who is a front seat meant for? Anyone who wants to take on leadership must be brave and bold and to say that I deserve that front seat. So I want to just challenge for those of you that might be here who would like to sit in the middle because you don't want them to call you. You don't want them to see you. No. You cannot lead the next generation if you want to hide. You need to put yourself out there strategically. Okay, so stop taking the back seat. Those who lead, they don't take the back seat. They are in the forefront. They are the forefront of innovation. Flutter Wave today, you know, a lot of innovations that the young people are doing. They are at the forefront. So don't take the back seat. Okay, tell yourself, I will not take the back seat. I will not take the back seat. Also learn to listen. Ability to listen to feedback, like I said, and take constructive, feedback. So I want to conclude, okay? Whether you are a Gen Z or a millennial, the key word to leadership is mentorship. Whether you are a Gen Z on this call or a millennial, the key take home is mentorship. Mentorship is what passing on knowledge, passing on ideas, growing the next people, growing the next phase, passing on the knowledge that you know, passing on the ideas that you know. But before you become a mentor, what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? Would anybody be willing to listen to you when you speak? Would anyone be willing to listen to you when you speak? You should ask yourself that. What do I have? What do I have? What would the next generation of leaders have gotten from you? Whether you are a Gen Z on the call or a millennial or a Gen Alpha, what will the next millennial, the next generation of leaders, what would they have gotten from you? What would they say your impact has been to them? What impact would you have made in the lives of the next generation? What impact? What qualities stand you out? What qualities stand you out? What qualities stand you out? What skills do you have? What skills? Have you learned to own your skills? What courses have you taken over time? What communication skills? Because it's beyond written, both speaking and oral, both oral and written communication skills. Do you have them? Do you have them? What skills are you learning? This holiday, what skills have you learned? What have you added to your portfolio? If you're not intentional about learning, about development, then it means that you really don't want to pass on anything to the next generation. Because what are you going to pass across? Are you creative? Are you solving problems? Are you adaptable? Are you flexible? Those are skills that you should learn. Do you take initiative? Do you think outside the box? What skills are you learning? What skills? Okay. My take home for us today is to ask yourself, how can I better myself? What do I need to pass on? So the thing is, if you want to pass on something to the next generation, you need to know what it is. And if you don't have that thing now, then begin to look inwards and tell yourself and ask God to help you. Because God did not create a vacuum. So he didn't just create us and just throw us into the world, like empty. Everybody has something. Everybody has something. And we all will not be in the spotlight. Okay? Not everybody is meant to be in the spotlight. Not everyone is meant to be seen. But in your own little sphere, in your community, in your school, in your area, in your family, what leadership traits are you exhibiting? What skills sets do you have? What do you have in you that you want to pass on to the next generation? What skills? I hope I've been able to communicate what leadership for the next generation is. Thank you. I'm open to your questions now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome time. So sorry, everyone, again for the networkish, but I'm sure you've been able to learn a lot. So same here as well, because I was listening keenly. Please begin to type your questions as we've got limited time. Begin to type your questions now, so that get clarifications. Whilst our speaker is still here. Type your questions, type your questions, type your questions. Sometimes I get confused with this Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Until I began to hear today that Gen Y, then Gen Z, Gen Alpha. So what's going to happen after 2024?
Well, I'm sure there'll be Gen Beta, Alpha Beta.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so Elias is asking a question. He said, "Ma, can tech be also considered as a skill?"
Yes, tech is a skill. It's a tech skill, okay? Because not everybody can do tech. Okay, I am not very techy. I will not say that I'm very techy, but you've seen people who create stuff. You've seen people who do things from the scratch. So tech skills are also considered as skill. And if it is something that you're doing, you can improvise on it. Okay, so there are levels to this thing. You might be thinking that, oh, I'm so great, and then you find out that, oh man, I've not even scratched the surface. Okay, so whatever skill that you're doing, tech skills, whatever skills, the thing is to hone it, H-O-N-E. Hone your skill means improving on that skill, improving on the skill. How do we effectively communicate with those around us? How do you communicate to somebody? Okay, like I mentioned, clearly, what do you want to communicate? I want us to build Okay, look at those people. For those of us that are not Christians, apologists, the Tower of Babel in the Old Testament in the Bible, they had a clear goal and they communicated to themselves and said, we want to build a tower that will get to heaven. If God had not confused their language, then they would have done it. How did they communicate? It's simple. Communicate in clear terms. Don't speak in parables. Jesus was a parable speaker. He would eventually explain, but he would start as a parable. Don't speak in parables. Communicate effectively, clearly, and itemize your thoughts. Itemize your thoughts. And there are also tones in communication. I mentioned that Gen Zs are actually known as people who don't know how to converse. It seems like they just speak anyhow. But that's not our case here. I believe that everybody here knows how to communicate. You need to know how to speak. When you meet older people, how do you communicate to them without sounding rude? When you're speaking to the younger generation, how do you communicate with them without sounding, condescending, without it being like you're looking down on them? So there must be a balance. And there are books that you can read on effective communication. There are courses that you can also take on how to, communicate effectively. Thank you. You mentioned what the world thinks of this Gen Z, but what do you suppose the world feels about Gen Alpha? Gen Alpha, they are still coming up. But Gen Alphas, it's, we're talking about leadership development. It is what the Gen Z is passed on to the Gen Alphas, and that's what we're saying, that help them because they don't know better. Okay. And I mentioned a relay that is a button. What was passed down to us? Okay, of course, they will not take everything, but it's better that we are equipped. We also know what we want to pass across to them. Okay, when you know what you want to pass, when you see the laps, when you see, because they are new, when you have a clean sheet, it's whatever you draw on that sheet that sticks. So let's take this Gen Alphas as a clean slate, and that we want to paint, what we think is good. But we need to know what is good before we will say we want to paint the same thing on that clean canvas. Do we get it? So Gen Alphas, they are still young, they are technologically driven. What they know now is apps, internet, everything around them is centered around television and social media and the likes. So the way to groom them is to see that, see, everything, even though there is social media, there's tech and all that, I mentioned responsible use of these things. There is a way to use them responsibly. People are hacking stuffs now. Gen Alphas, you would think we've seen hackers and all that. I believe that this Gen Alpha, because the way that this thing works, it's amazing. Even I am amazed, like the way that the mind works and the way that technology has, there's AI. I was trying to edit a picture, okay, and I took those picture, and I took an app. It's called Photo Room, and I just clicked AI. I clicked AI background, and he asked me what kind of background I wanted. And I said I wanted it on a tiled ground with this, and I just typed what I wanted, and he brought my picture, and he made it something else. And I was amazed. I was so amazed. I was like, wow. If you're not familiar with AI, you will think that that picture that I posted was the real picture. It wasn't real. The background was totally different. Okay, but it changed it into something else. So the world of AI now, that's what we're in, but there is a responsible use of it. You've seen people make somebody an image start talking, and everybody's thinking, there was a picture I saw of Pastor Poggi one time speaking French, and he can't speak French, but they used AI to make him speak French. So that means they can impersonate people. So that's why I asked, what values are we going to pass across? When the Gen Alphas have good values, those good values would make them do the right things, even with technology. So our work is really vast. We need to move out into the tech space and try to change the narrative and ensure that the ones that are before us or in front of us, the Gen Alphas, that they do it better. Thank you. Is it safe to say that the Gen Alphas will fail? Oh no, they can't fail. They will not fail. That's why they have you. Okay, Elliot, they won't fail. Okay, there is a wonderful set of people. Great things are happening with the Gen Alphas. Great things. I mentioned AI. See what they can use AI to do. It is your world, the Gen Alphas. This AI world is your world, but you can use it for good. You can use it for good. You can look at the moral decadence in the society and say, so and so, they're happening. They're not actually good. How can I change the narrative? How can I make it better? So for those that are tech savvy amongst us, okay, how do we make it better? Okay, thank you, Joseph. Yes, the future is bright. So Gen Alphas, you guys are like the future. You are the future of work. You are the future of everything. Okay, so we're just here to guide you, and we're telling the Gen Zs to guide you better. They have seen what technology can do so that you also do not use technology, to do wrong, okay? Because it's both ways. You can use it for good, you can use it for evil, and I trust that everyone on this call, whether Gen Z or Gen Alpha or the Millennials, you will use technology for good and not for evil. Thank you.
Okay, so there's still a question here, man.
Okay, what's question, sir?
So do you want to read it?
I can't, please read it, sir.
The mind is a situation whereby one notices the problems among Gen Alpha, and as a Gen Z, you've seen the problem and ready to provide solution. And the so-called Gen Alpha, this is definitely Gen Z. And the so-called Gen Alpha the Gen Alpha are not ready to take it.
So the solution and the
solution
provided. What should the Gen do? How do I answer your questions? You've seen the problems and you're ready to provide solutions, and Gen Alphas are not ready to take the heat. You keep doing the good that you know how to do. When we have children, they learn by example. They learn by what we say, okay, but that's very little. But they learn more by what we do. Okay, so if you know the problems and you know the solution and they're not taking heed, I think the best thing is for you to go ahead and do the solution. and show them how it is done and let them see the good that will come out of those solutions that you have preferred, okay? So that when they see you doing it and they see that, oh, this is actually good, because see, sometimes people just don't want to hear. But if you're showing them the way, showing them what can be done, and then they see that, oh, okay, this possibility is actually not bad, then they'll take the lead and they'll follow, okay? But you know, sometimes it's not about just talking, it's by showing, it's by doing, okay? It's by showing and by doing. So there's a lot of moral, you know, decadence in the society today because people are not ready to do the right things. And some people even know the right thing to do. That's why you hear people mention that when you travel out of the country, the same people who are doing all the horrible things here, when they go out there, they conform, they stay on the queue, they do the right things. They don't throw trash out of the cars. They take the trash, put it in their cars. When they get to the destination, they, you know, they put it out. But you need to show. Something happened to me one time. I was driving to the island, and so I really get worried when I see people, how they drive on the road. My husband says, I don't want to mention the word, you know, she's just like, Kemi, can you just let it go? I'm like, I can't let it go. So there's a lane on the road, you know, all the track lines on the road. So those lanes, those tracks, those lines means that you should stay in your lane. So you have 3 tracks, sometimes you have 4. So it means that at every point in time when you're on the road, you should stay in your lane. And then what you find people stay, you know, put one half of their car on one lane, another part on one lane. And that day there was a bus driver, all those downful yellow buses in front of me, and I couldn't move because he was driving in the 2 lanes together. And then I started flashing it, and then I managed to drive by the side, and I said, okay, there is a line, stay on your lane. And he looked at me, he didn't say a word, but you know what he did? He stayed on that lane. He went back into his lane. And I remember that for like 5 minutes before I joined the third mainland bridge, he stayed on the lane because I showed him how to do it. I showed him that this is what should be done. So sometimes when you're seeing it and they're not listening, show them how it should be done. And when you show them, you know, they would follow suit. Thank you. What do you think we can do to reduce or stop the Gen Alpha from being corrupt by the social media, unlike the Gen Z? Even Gen Zs are also corrupt with social media, you know? But how do you do that? Like I said, speak to them, find ways to communicate with them. If you know where they are, if you know where the Gen Zs are, you know, you can form, see, you're not too young to have, what's it called? Like focus groups. Focus groups. That focus group means that you're focusing on a particular maybe subject or, you know, way of life, you know, and all that. It's called a focus because you're focusing on one particular thing. You can have a focus group. I went to speak for someone 3 weeks ago. He has a group for young people. Okay, somewhere in Ubudu there. And, you know, they were just neighbors, you know, young people from the streets, some in school, some not in school, and they were all there. And, you know, and so we went there to speak with them. So if you know that there's something that you want to do, you can have a focus group. If you don't know where they are, you can start a small one. Once you have 2 people, 3 people, you know, because the way that we are able to do leadership is by influence. So if you can influence one person right, that one person can influence the next person right. So don't always think that you must do it in a large, you know, a large setting that, oh, it must be a lot of people. No, influence one person. Once you influence one person, the next person will be influenced by that one person, and that's how it spreads. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Trying to read. Everywhere I go, tech is everything, and it's so sad. It's so sad will take over everything. If it does take over, are we, human labor, not needed anymore? Well, okay, I think people have been responding. Depends on the area tech is driving at. Tech can't occupy writing or poetry. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for those replies. Yes, like I said, tech is the in thing now, but it can't take over absolutely everything. Even poetry, Mr. Joseph, remember that ChatGPT now can, but it does not, it's still how do I explain this? What I do, okay, I have a fashion business, and yes, we have machines that will cut. You just design on the laptop. You just design what you want, and the machine will take, you spread the fabric, and the machine will just, cut it round and all that. Okay. And the machine can also sew and everything. And you would think that, so what will happen to tailors? And then you have cars that are driving themselves now. Okay. And so after a while, it will be possible that you will not have drivers and all that. But for me, there's no way that you will not need human interference at any point in time. Because even for the machine to cut that cloth effectively, the human has to spread it for it to cut it. The human had to help him put it in the machine for it to sew. So you can never, say that you will not have human factor, even though tech is the in thing. And we all can do tech. I am not in tech. I'm not in tech. What I do is not tech. It's okay, like perfumes, for instance. A machine cannot smell. I produce perfumes. A machine cannot smell. I haven't seen a machine that can smell, really. Okay, so you still need the human beings to, so do you understand? So don't put that fear in your mind that, okay, no, focus on what you want to focus on. Whatever it is that is what you want to do, focus on it. Tech will only aid you. It will help you make it easier and better. But that tech will take over, and will not have humans doing anything. I don't think that would, I don't see that happening in the near future. So please don't worry yourself about that for now. Just keep on improving on yourself. For Gen Z and Alpha corrupted by social media. Okay, I think I'm done with the questions. I think so. What do you think we can do to reduce or stop the Gen Alpha from being corrupted by the social media, unlike the Gen Zs? I think I mentioned it. It's influence, okay, and to talk about it. And if you're a Gen Z, unlike, please don't tell that Gen Zs are not being corrupted by the social media as well. They are, okay? Because Gen Alphas are still very young. So Gen Zs should work on themselves first. So why not just focus on, partnering with some Gen Zs that are not socially corrupt, okay? And then see how you can, and ensure that the next generation, is not also corrupt by social media. But like I said, it is one at a time. Don't seek to do it, in a group. That can work, but it might not really work. Do it one by one. Influence one-on-one. Talk to one person. Win one person over. That one person will win the next person over. That's how Jesus did. By the time he won one, the news spread. You remember the woman by the well, when he told her who he was and all that, she ran into the community and started shouting, I have never seen this kind of person before. So work on one person first. That one person can be the change that you need to win a lot of people over. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Apologies. Okay. Thank you. It's been an awesome time. I can see everybody is having a swell time because the questions and the chat was just going on sometimes. I was laughing, trying to control my laughter, with some of the comments. Thank you so much, ma'am. I know we've learned a lot, and look forward to having you again, ma'am. This is really, really beautiful and awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. And then if you have a social media handle, I'll reach out to you. So I'll post it on their group so that they can follow you as well.
No problem, sir. I'll share that, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
All right. Also, everybody, thank you for joining. I want to apologize again. I know we have about close to about 200 people registered for this training. I know some will still join again. Some are waiting for YouTube. Couldn't stream on YouTube. I'll try recording. I'll try to see how to make it available. But in the meantime, thank you for joining today's class.